Apologies for not being able to bring you that insert earlier. We'll be telling you that story about demolition here in Accra before the bulletin is over. Now, a new survey conducted by the Political Science Department of the University of Ghana suggesting a win for the NPP in 2020 has been rubbished by an aspiring General Secretary of the party, Bright Ahiable, who is currently the Director of Communications of the Chicago chapter of the party. Now, he describes the survey as premature and capable of causing the government to become complacent and thereby leading to its defeat in the next election. Well, how so? Bright joins me in the studio to tell us more about this rather unusual stance he has taken about a survey which speaks in favor of the party's chances. Welcome to join you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So, a lot of government functionaries have been jubilating over these results. 52% approval rating. If there was an election today, you win by 52%, but 64% approval rating generally. What's wrong with that?
Thank you. Let me just make a very small correction in the name. My name is Richard Ahiable.
Right.
Yes, I think you're right. Surveys are good, polls are good, and in many ways, for a government like ours, I think it tells us that we are in touch with the aspirations of our people. We are meeting expectation with the polls that have been conducted by University of Ghana. So on the balance, I think it gives us the comfort that what we told Ghanaians we're going to do, we're doing, especially this government. And I think the government doesn't get enough credit, especially hardworking President, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and his Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So on the whole, the government is performing. Now, where this issue needs to be taken seriously is the party level. The party level is where we need to understand that we cannot take these things wholesale. We need to begin to look at them critically. And if you followed our extraordinary delegate conference in Kumasi, our president advised us not to be complacent, to look at the history, the most recent history of complacency and what he gave other people. So for us, these polls are a call to awareness, to understand that there is some heavy lifting that we have to do now, and we have to do that immediately. That is the basis for my candidacy, to ensure that as a party we are organizing today, not tomorrow. We are putting our structures together today, not tomorrow. So we are trying to get awareness within our party, especially now that we have our local level or lower level elections, our grassroots elections going on. I want us to draw attention to that. Oftentimes,
the fact that there's more work that needs to be done.
Exactly.
And you should not rest on your oars because of this survey.
That, and also that the most of the work that needs to be done as a party has to be done at those levels, because those grassroots operatives of the party are really the heart of the party. So now that that election is going on, all of us need to engage in that. We can use this poll as a confirmation that we are doing something right, or we can live up to the expectation of victory in 2020. My candidacy, I'm looking at victory beyond 2020, because it is, as a tradition, we need to have that period, beyond 2 terms, to be able to consolidate and entrench our traditional policies, to ensure that Ghana, when we ever hand power over to the opposition, we're not going back. Because if you look at the performance so far, from 2008 when we left office, we regressed. Just about between 2000.
Well, that's very debatable.
No, it's not. It's a matter of fact.
On which terms we regressed. And listen, it's my job to sit here on this side of the table and say what goes. Yeah. And depending on who is sitting in that chair, the performance from 2008 to 2016 will be a different story. And
I'm just going to give you data. So data is not a debatable issue.
There are different sets of data. We had the highest form of economic growth, 14% in 2010. I mean, we can go into that, but that's not the crux of this discussion. The economic discussion, the performance of this country is not the crux of the discussion. Your comments on the survey is that it is an encouragement to work harder. Some would say that the performance that you're currently enjoying, that this survey shows, is the performance of the current administration of the NPP. Why change a winning ticket?
Well, listen, the poll actually paints a picture of the government, not of the party. We need to draw that distinction.
That is the party that formed the government.
No, hold on. We have two different streams now. The government is a government of Ghana, not of NPP. Okay, born by the NPP, but it's not a reflection of the NPP as it is today, that the government's performance is equal to the party's performance. There are two different streams that you have to look at. And that is the critical thing. When you are a party in government, the administration of the party is different. The kind of energy, the kind of reform, the kind of work ethic that you bring to administering the party is totally different. But see, when you are in government, you want to build your party structures. You want to galvanize the party structures. When you're in opposition, the party structures, they mobilize organically. Okay, but when that mobilize in organic form in opposition, when you come into government, you organize that mobilization. Okay. So that is the difference between yes,
government and party. So this survey dealt with government's performance.
Government performance, which
tell me your view of what the party's performance has been.
The party's performance, I think, it's one thing that I guess we need to look at. Okay, and like I tell you, it's something that is, for me, very important going into our local level elections to ensure that we're building the party from the ground up. Okay, right now you don't have party executives. We're now going through a process to elect new party executives. It's important, given our preparations for 2020, to ensure that we're electing one at the grassroots, people who are.
No, but Richard, my question is, because you have separated out the performance of government and the performance of the party. Fair enough. My question is, in your view, what is the performance of this party?
In present terms?
Exactly.
I think there is really any number of ways that you can look at what the party has done right now. But what I'm trying to tell you is that because you cannot look right now and say what the party's performance is, because there is nothing right now to measure what the party's performance is. Hold on one second. You just
finished on that score, you just finished a Congress, you just had constitutional reforms, the party is currently organizing elections.
Right.
The party is currently grappling with, supporting government, because you cannot totally rule out the party's role in the governance process. So on those terms, the party is still going through activities every day by which you can evaluate their performance. And that's what I want to know.
Okay. Well, you see, the reason I was trying to focus your attention on the elections which we're having is because that's what we're talking forward. We're not talking in present terms. Okay, we're talking going forward. Now, if you're talking presently, I can just give you one instance. Okay, talking about party communication. When we were in government, the one reason we actually touched the hearts of Ghanaians to be able to advance our message in the final analysis to win this election because our communication was solid. Okay? Right now, we don't have a very well-defined communication system that helps us put our programs out there. Otherwise, this poll that is telling you about 62% happiness or satisfaction with the government's performance would have been much more. Okay? You look at a situation where government officials are the ones trying to do communication. It is the party's role, okay, to do political communication. It is the government officials' role to explain their policy, to tell us Ghanaians in real terms what this policy is going to achieve and all of that.
But isn't that what government officials have been doing?
Yes, but they see because you don't have effective party communication, I want you to see the difference there. You don't have effective party communication. You force the government officials to actually delve into areas where it seems more political than policy explanation. You understand the difference?
Give me an example of this.
Well, let's not delve into that, but you see, you understand the substance of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but an example would help me understand.
Well, you see, so when it comes to free SHS, for example, okay, it is a policy. I expect our Minister of Education to be one that comes and just talks about the benefits of it and focus on that. The politics of it, whether or not it's going to, be successful, it's going to be sustained, we're going to find the money to do it. That is a political communication because we have an opposition that is engaged with us in that conversation. The government officials' position is just to tell us what it is they are doing, how it is they are doing to make sure that all the students that have been taken will actually benefit from the process, that the process ultimately will give Ghana the readiness we need in terms of human capital to be able to propel our agenda forward.
You think telling Ghanaians if you'll get the money to fund one of the key government policies or not is not the job of a government official?
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that there's a political angle to that question. Okay, which is based on the opposition engaging us to say that we don't have the money, it's just a show kind of policy. You understand? So, but then if you have a political operative like myself as a party defendant, I can argue that to you from a party philosophical position. Okay, but a party government official needs to be focused on the task of letting us understand the policy and where it's going to take Ghana. So that dynamic needs to be drawn so that the government official is not seen as doing politics because they're supposed to rise above politics. As a party person, I am supposed to come and engage the opposition in terms of all the ideological positions that is being narrated by them, and I should be in that seat to tell them exactly what it is that policy does for Ghana in relation to who we are as a party. So that's a dynamic that when you have a well-oiled and functioning political party, does that. You see, you can agree with me.
So to you, it's a symptom of a political party that is not very well-oiled at the moment.
I just gave you an instance that with respect to communication. Okay, we can go ahead and talk about other aspects which has to do with mobilization, has to do with organization and service to our party people. Okay, we have an instance where there is some disconcession within our party base. We haven't been there for them the way we should be, but that is because we have structures that are not effective at this point. That's why I was telling you that my focus at this present time going into this election is to try that we build a solid grassroots structure. So these elections that are ongoing, I was talking about this to some media people, that we need to bring equal attention to bear on those level of elections. Polling station elections, yes, because those ones always go unattended to. But then we all focus on the national. If you get it wrong at the local level, you get it wrong eventually at the national level.
So how have we been getting this wrong at the local level? And where is the problem starting from?
The problem is interest. Okay, because that is not attended to as much as it should be. It is seen as a non-effectual election. We just want to put people there. We end up putting people there who some are reluctant. They probably just are there because they feel they're party people and they are there. Some people put them there because they want to put them there. But you see, we have come to a point where in 2020, we're just not going to be able to be effective if we don't have effective grassroots leadership.
So why are we getting this wrong in putting these things there? Is it a lack of know-how among the some of the executives on the national level, for instance?
No, it is. I think it's a collective neglect of the process. So that, you see, when we're talking now, you and I are talking because I'm running to become the next general secretary of the party. That is important. But I tell you what, there's somebody running now to become an electoral area coordinator who you're never going to get to know his name. You see, we're never going to get to vet that individual to see the position he's seeking if he's ready for it. Okay? An array of people. People really don't have interest in doing that. People are cajoled sometimes into coming to do that. But we're saying that if we bring attention to bear on that process, people then begin to get interest in that. So you have quality people going, oh, this is something that is worth doing for the party. Because as I'm saying, as a matter of principle and a belief in going into this general secretary contest, is that we cannot be strong as a party if we're not strong at the base. So for me, it's cardinal that we get involved in this grassroots election to ensure that the people who are there, okay, we shore them up. We get to vet the right people, get our party general membership to get involved in that process and elect people that will represent the entire membership well.
For as part of the constitutional reforms that were suggested, the proposals, this was eventually dropped at a point. But then it was suggested that for anyone vying for a national position or a regional position, a person must have started vying from the very grassroots of the party, risen through all the ranks, and then come to a national level. Someone would have seen that policy as a way of dealing with this issue of strengthening the grassroots. That would mean then that a lot of quality would come to the grassroots with the hopes of rising higher.
No, that is not a positive policy. That's the very reason why it was rejected. That's not how you build quality. Okay, that's not how you do it. So simply, that's not a policy that is worth pursuing, so it was dropped. the idea that we want to build quality in our foundation, the foundation of
So
our party.
you think they missed the point in trying to build quality in the grassroots level?
No, I'm not trying to accuse anybody, but what I'm trying to do is that how we have done it in the past has not worked. And as a matter of my vision coming into this,
But someone must be held responsible for a system that
I think it's a collective thing. And our democracy is growing and we're getting better. So we're bringing this kind of view to say that where we should place attention is not at the general secretary level. I know that if I am not qualified, I don't have certain discipline and understanding, I wouldn't be sitting here wanting to contest for general secretary of our party. But I was saying that if we don't bring equal attention to be brought on all these local elections, individuals who are going there, don't regard the position as something that is worthwhile. They will look at a general secretary contest as what is the deal.
Yeah,
okay,
what's worth going after.
Exactly. But my very position, my vision is this: that we as a party, we are strong when we have a strong grassroots. Okay, so before you can have a strong grassroots, you want a strong grassroots leadership to be able to serve the larger membership of our party. Today, our party is very strong at a national level. All the power is resident up there. If I am fortunate enough to become the next general secretary of our party, I want to devolve power. And I think our president
would go into a bit of the plans that you may have for running as general secretary. But you see, this idea that you want to decentralize, try to devolve, try to put more power in the base. You first of all named, for instance, an ineffective communication team as one of the issues that the party has. And then we move to the structures of the party. That suggests to a listener, someone who is watching us right now, that the problems with the NPP now is more than one. So if you want to look at it collectively, where do we start from?
We start from building our party structures, because you can't do without those. In opposition, that structure mobilizes naturally. They mobilize organically because of the patriotism of our people, of the desire to bring to bear our vision on Ghana's development, and the desire to support our president, who, in fact, all of us have now realized that it's been too long having him wait to be president because of what he has done, the essential devotion to national service. We have now realized that. So that was the energy that brought us into power. Now that we are in power, we need to invest in earnest how it is that we capture that momentum, hold it in place, organize around that energy so that we are ready continually. Not when it is too late that we begin to flip a switch to have the...
But you see, some would say that with some of these issues, it's simply a question of, for instance, changing the person who is responsible for some of these things. Because if you look at the communication, for instance, the example that you raised, wouldn't you say that a leader, an effective leader there would make some of the changes that you have suggested, put more party people out there at the forefront of organizing the party's communications rather than government officials?
Not necessarily. It is about vision. It's about passion. It's about determination. It's about...
But that has to be carried through a vessel. Some say leadership is cause, everything else is effect.
Right. So you're saying that. So if you have a leader who don't have the vision to do these things, you can put him there all you want, but you're not going to see what you want. So the point, what I'm saying is this, that you need... And that's why it's important for us to engage in these elections and bring attention. So that way, you are forcing people who wants to be leaders to tell you about their ideas. And that's what I'm hoping that you, the media, will help us do, that in this pursuit to become the next general secretary or to elect the next general secretary of the party will be based on ideas, not on the fact that the person is known, not on the fact that the person has been here.
You think some of these people don't have ideas?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that as far as democracy is concerned, it's a contest of ideas. Otherwise, we won't be electing presidents every 4 years.
Okay.
Our president, we believe his vision is good for Ghana.
So you think it's a matter of superior ideas?
No. It's a matter of relevance of the ideas to the time that we're in. Okay? You just talked about the poll. It says 62% of Ghanaians are happy. If we voted today, if there were elections today, MPP will win. You understand? The relevance of it is that you want somebody who has an idea that will keep us in that direction. If you don't have that, an individual who understands how to consume...
But the point is, these are
just
people
one
who have
point.
gotten us to this point, and so, pardon me, we have very little time. Okay. These are people who have gotten us to this point, and it would naturally follow that these people have the relevant ideas to keep the party in this direction.
Well, you see, that's not the point. if you say, I think you are not the first person, but let me correct this impression once and for all on your show, that the perception that one person brought us to power is erroneous. In fact, is rather discouraging to the masses of people who actually rode us to power. Our national youth organizer talked about it recently when he mentioned that there were people who slept in mosquito-infested classrooms and places to bring us to power. Those people don't get a credit. Why are we giving credit to an individual?
So we shouldn't give the
no,
credit
I'm saying that perception is erroneous. That perception suggests to me or to the masses of our party that they didn't do anything, that one individual did something. That's not right. Our president, in fact, recognizes the fact that Ghanaians brought him to power. And he's determined to serve them at every turn to make sure that the hope or the courage that reposed in him is justified in work. So we should not be seen as giving credit to one individual that he brought it. That is erroneous. In fact, that is very ungrateful to our grassroots party.
They'll take me off very soon if I don't do this. Thank you very much for joining us. Richard Ahiable is Director of Communications with Chicago NPP.
Yes,
he's the hopeful for NPP General Secretary. Now, reactions to the survey since it was released yesterday have been varied across board. We went back to the researchers to find out if the feedback they have received since yesterday would cause them to change any aspect of their work so far. Dr. Bosman Asari is Senior Political Science Lecturer at the Department of Political Science, University of Ghana, who is one of the researchers, says he and his team are just putting across what the public make of the current administration and therefore have nothing to change. He spoke to Mama V. Owusu-Abuaje on the AM show.
I don't think there is anything to change because when you are doing a survey, you are doing a research of this nature, you are just presenting what people are saying, and that's what we actually did. If people want to understand maybe what are some of the implications of the study, for that one, as researchers, as analysts, we have our take on it. But what we presented yesterday still remains the outcome of the work we did recently.
Let's go back to the place.
Always we maintain the standard of research. In terms of funding, you know, the university gives us the book and research allowance, and we also have organizations. When you want to do works of this nature, you write to them, they look at the impact of the work on the society, they are ready to support. But I think for all the research team, we have Professor Emmanuel Debra, who is an associate professor in our department. We have Mr. Keche Frimpong, a celebrated person when it comes to election issues in Ghana, Dr. Usumensa, Dr. Ivan Sagridako. I don't think there are some people out there, I don't know the amount of money they can give us so that we can do something to favor one party or the other. But when you look at the work, we made it very clear that those we interviewed, 56% of them voted for the MPP in 2016. And 36% voted for the NDC in 2016. But that same people, about 42% of them voted for the NDC in 2012. And 41% voted for the MPP in 2012. So when you look at it, that means some of the people who voted for the NDC in 2012, they changed their minds in 2016. And it's normal in elections. So when you take it from that angle, we expect that since more MPP people were polled, chances are that they will likely better. But when you add the NDC figure of 36% to the MPP, that gives you about 92%. That means we have some 8% of the people who either did not vote or they didn't vote for the NDC or the MPP. So when you look at it from that angle, the results is still very, very significant to the extent that we expect that if the government is not doing that well, many MPP people will say, since the government is not doing well, let's advise ourselves. And in that case, if even the government is not doing well, and even we said 56 of them voted for the MPP, and now if elections were held, the MPP was going to win by 52.7. So some of us were expecting that if that was the case, why didn't the reduction on the side of the MPP, why didn't it come to the NDC? But we noticed that although 36% of them voted for the NDC, if elections were held, only 33.1 or so will vote for NDC again. That means the MPP reduced and the NDC also reduced. So we have about, you put the figures of the two parties together, if elections were held at the time of the interview, almost about 80-something%. So that means we still have a significant percentage of our people who didn't make up their mind whether they will vote for the NDC or the MPP. So
Now, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly has taken its decongestion exercise a notch higher to emphasize their resolve to ensure sanity in the capital. This morning, a number of illegal structures sited along the railway that runs through the Kwame Nkrumah interchange were demolished. The exercise was carried out in the presence of heavy security officials. Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba witnessed the exercise and reports.
What you can see in the background is actually the remains of the structures that have been pulled down here this dawn. Hundreds of them, wooden structures. Now, if you walk through the buildings that have been pulled down, you can see personal possessions like mattresses, personal effects like clothing. I mean, everything that you expect to find in a home, you'll find it here at the place of the demolition or the decongestion exercise. We are told that this exercise will be replicated along other rail lines at places like Aveno. Here also the team from here will be moving to Alajo. If you come here to Circle this morning, Roland, about more than 50 police officers are gathered here. A lot of them fully, armed to the teeth. Some AMA officials are also on standby here, making sure that the process runs smoothly. Now, for the residents who live here, they've been kept off the scene. Some police officers have actually created some kind of line, drawn some kind of line for them. They're not supposed to move beyond that line, so you will not find them standing around this area. Police officers are making sure that no violence, breaks out. No violence breaks out as they continue with the process. Now, behind me, you can see some smoke in the background, some fire officers trying to douse the flames. What is happening is that when the earth-moving machine pull down the structures, sometimes they set them ablaze. But it looks like the fire is moving to some adjoining structures, so the fire service had to be called in to save the situation. So right now, they're trying to douse the flame. I have the man who is in charge of the operation here, Chief Superintendent Kwesiofori. He's going to tell us more about this exercise that is happening here this morning. Chief Superintendent, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can you tell us briefly what this whole exercise is about?
The police, we are here to support the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to carry out decongestion exercise and clean the city, as if you've noticed, barely about 5 days ago. And we are here this morning for this special demolition exercise that will be extending to other neighborhoods. So our presence is to provide security coverage. But one thing is we've arrested an arsonist who set 3 separate fires.
Okay.
And
so it was an arsonist who started the fire?
Who started the fire.
Okay.
Operating along the wall side. And we've arrested him.
Okay.
And he will be put before court earliest. And other people who also resisted, this lawful exercise were also arrested, and they will be questioned as such. But I can assure you that we've been able to maintain the best of security on the ground, and everything is moving on as scheduled.
50 meters away from the rail lines here, all these structures, usually in the evening when you come here, this place is actually a hive of activity. So you find chop bars, you find eateries, you find pubs, you find drinking spots, you find video game centers, all of them here at this place. These structures have all been completely demolished. You can see some mattresses still here, some handbags, I should say. The team from the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, the Ghana Railway Company Limited, had to move in. You remember that this week, started Monday, the AMA boss has been moving through town, and they've been going around decongesting the city. A lot of people that we've spoken to are quite excited by the move to decongest the capital city. But for some traders and for some hawkers, they are not excited about it. So it's kind of like, for the AMA, it's kind of like being caught between the devil and then the deep blue sea.
Okay, this is a story building where we do our business. There's a restaurant there. There's an office complex here. There are other buildings up where people stay. But the AMA, they came without prior notice that they're going to destroy the building. They came with their bulldozer and they break everything down. Our properties are still intact inside there.
Our money is there.
Our money and everything. They treated us, it's just because, I don't know, I can't understand it. They treated us with levity in a democratic dispensation. What is it all about? In Ghana, I'm a Nigerian, but the Ghana government here did not give us, stop, the Ghana government did not give us a period notice about destroying the building. They just came and destroyed everything, not minding what the people will feel. In a democratic dispensation, what is it all about? It's unfair in the chaos. It's understandable. Do you understand? If that is not the chaos, it's understandable that they do business, they do all sort of things with the kiosk. But we're talking about the main building where people live, do their business. I run the restaurant. I run the restaurant. I own it. I pay IMA. I register the restaurant. Are you covering me? I registered this restaurant with the IMA. I have my papers and everything. All the legal things is with me. I have it. Without give, I'm going to sue them.
But I was so surprised. I couldn't get a place to sleep. I slept at the railway put here. So since that
So you had a building here?
I had an apartment here. So when I get here yesterday,
Okay, the wooden structure.
it was destroyed. So I don't even. This is what I can see.
What's in the back?
Just only my. I just get only a jeans here, only jeans, and most of my clothes. I couldn't find anyone. You can see only one here. You can see right now.
So why are you going to sleep?
No. Why give me?
So why are you going to sleep today?
For now, I don't know where I'm going to sleep now. Even as I'm talking to you right now, I'm sleeping. Since yesterday, I was just thinking, I have no penny with me right now. I got money, I don't have anything with me. So I was so frustrated. So even though government has to give, if they want to break here, understand, government has to just provide a means of living for the rest people where it's going to stay. But